Welcome, everyone. It is 5:34, May 10th, 2023. Oh, that way it was. Good evening, everyone. It's 5:34, May 10th, 2023, our historical commission meeting. Call to order. Want to say everybody's names?
Yep.
Yeah, you want it? Do you want to do it or do you want me to?
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Olivia Mazel.
Here.
Joseph Magola.
Here.
Elizabeth Rodriguez. Here. Luis Salazar. Jean Jonker. Here. Chris Gothier.
Here. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the review of meeting minutes for April 10th, 2023. Everyone wants to take a quick minute? The spelling was perfect on item 2, the Alex.
Oh.
Yes, he did it good.
Oh.
Yes. It was perfect. Any questions, any corrections? No. Can I have a motion then to approve? Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Do a roll call. Olivia Mazel. Yes. Joseph Mazola.
Yes.
Elizabeth Rodriguez. Yes. Luis Salazar. Jean Jonker. Yeah. Chris Gothier.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, on to item 3 on our agenda is public comment. Anybody in the waiting room or anybody in our audience? No? Easy, easy. Okay, we will go on to item number 4 on the agenda, public presentation for 144 High Street, which is the Fuller Block.
Oh, yeah, now I'm unmuted. Thank you.
Hello there, Tris. How are you?
Hi. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I can hear you and you can hear me, I guess, right?
Yes. And we can see you.
Yes. Do you have the drawings on your share screen?
I do. Hold on one moment. Yes. Can you
Okay.
see them?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
this is. Okay, do you want me to present?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, so this first drawing is a photo montage of the existing rear wall and the proposed rebuilding of that wall. And it's probably hard to see, but everybody was sent a PDF so you could look in detail if you want. What we have is a wall that's falling apart and doesn't have a foundation. You can actually see the fact that the middle 2 piers have heaved up because there's no footing under them and the frost pushes them up. And this happens to anything that doesn't go down below 4 feet or have a frost mat. We're proposing to put in helical piers, which are a drilled pier where they measure the torque, and when it reaches the proper torque, that equals the load of what it can carry. And it's very common use today. It's very efficient. The important thing is we don't have to dig down 4 feet and basically endanger the sidewall, east and west walls. We simply drill these piers where we want to put loads that will carry up to the roof, carry the wall and the roof. And we're going to reuse the existing steel member that's in the wall. And it will stay there because it will act as a wind load. We will also have, this is detailed, but there'll also be a member that goes from the steel back to the floor. Behind this wall is going to be a clear story space. The floor has been removed and it's not going to be put back. It's going to be a performance and display space. However, we want the windows to approximate what was there, the same height. Actually, if you look on the left of the top photo of the old wall, you'll see a pair of double hungs, and basically we've got that again, but instead of double hung windows, we're going to use an energy efficient, basically passive solar window concept where you have an overhang over glass. So the high summer sun can't get in, but the low summer winter sun can. And so it'll be an energy saver. At the same time, it will approximate an historic window. We're going to have 2 garage doors, similar to what's there now, in terms of size. The siding material, we want a fireproof material. It's number 1. Number 2, we want it to cover the wood frame. The fact that the passive solar window wants to be in a thick wall also is enjoyed by the fact that a thick wall, you can get more insulation. And there's a common method of construction today for saving money on cost while increasing insulation, which is called a double stud wall. There's other names for it too, but basically you have 2-by material inside and out, and they're tied together to form basically a truss diaphragm. And so we're going to have a nice insulated wall with a good energy gain and a good energy blocker in the summer. The colors of the wall is up in the air. I mean, if you see next door to this new wall, there's a clapboard little structure, 2nd floor, double hung window, which abuts the building. And then across the alley, the middle photograph to your right there, the existing alley, there's also clapboards in various colors. We would imagine that's probably fiber cement. Fiber cement is a fireproof gypsum siding, and it's in use a lot today. We're going to keep the same height, obviously, going to keep the east and west walls. There have to be, some repair work, but they're not anywhere as near bad condition as what the south wall is. Trying to think any other issues that might want to be touched on. Further in the set of drawings, you want to go maybe to the next drawing. You can see that's the existing windows that are there now. So basically, you see the 2 square windows on the left and right, and we're basically putting a window in the middle, which will be windows in the middle, which will approximate those and look less. What's there now is like a cob job of over the years of different windows being popped in and out. And that one in the middle looks like it could have been a door. It's got a sill on it. I don't know. But if you go to the next drawing, you'll see basically what was in the photo montage. Basically the 4 what appear to be like double hungs, mullioned together over 2 garage doors and a passage door to the right there. Same wall detail. And then if you go to the next drawing, you will see the front of the building, which is going to be restored exactly as we think it would have been. The windows will have to be replaced. There'll be maintenance work throughout, but the majority of that wall is intact and fortunately is going to be easy to restore. And you can see there's 2 entrances there and 2 sets of what would be storefront windows. Did the drawing go away for everybody? Mine just disappeared there. Okay, well, in any event, the drawing that you didn't get to see, I believe, was the existing condition of the front of the building, which really is covered in plywood right now. Yeah, it's the first one. Yeah. It's in the set of drawings for the record. Yeah, so after this drawing comes the existing condition.
There we go.
The plywood and boarded up windows. So the before and after is quite striking, front and back, and an improvement to the city, we think, and will really complement the historic character of the neighborhood.
And I think it was much better.
Yeah, so you can see that's I believe that's the fire chief talking to Katie and Carlos. And as they're looking at it, it miraculously rejuvenates itself. Anyway, you'll see, if you look down the street further, you'll see another brick building, and it's got a plastered sidewall, same on down, so that different color and material happening at the corner of a building is quite common. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions so far?
No?
Not so far.
Okay, so the, like I said, the thing that's up in the air are colors. Katie mentioned that the window frames will, the door will be black. They're white in this drawing because that's the way they started out, and I never bothered to darken them. And the green color is supposed to just represent dark glass. And I didn't use blue because they're too low to reflect the sky. They will probably be, well, they'll obviously be light inside, it being glass. Security, of course, the door on the right will be a locked door. And another, let's see, what else was there at issue here? It's the exact same footprint. There will be, if you look in the detail to the right, there will be a frost mat. We're going to pour what we do is we dig down, after we put in the helical piers, dig down about a foot and put down a foam frost mat. And a frost mat is also called an Alaskan slab, where they can't dig down through the permafrost because it's frozen. And so they protect the annual freeze and thaw, which heaves up footings, and which happened to this building. Like I pointed before, the two piers in the middle have heaved up, whereas the corners haven't. Anyway, the frost mat is a dense foam. Because it's distributed load, it doesn't compress. Let's see, you can see the helical pier that's drawn there, and then it has a 6x6 that's bolted to it, which ties down basically for, hurricane lift or anything else, so that the entire frame is glued to the ground and all the loads go into those piers. But if for any reason there was, say, a pier undermined by like a broken pipe or something, the concrete block below the 6x6 will rest directly on the slab. So there's no way this wall will ever settle in the future. And it will be able to take a significant amount of load. The helical piers will be designed to take the load all by themselves without that concrete block, however. And then I guess we'll probably asphalt right to the building the way it is right now. What you see is a shadow on the ground, that dark strip. That's the actual shadow because the sun had just passed north of the east-west line. Actually, this wall is pretty much southeast, which is also good because it gets the morning sun more than the afternoon sun. The best time of day for sun is in the morning because it's the coldest time of the day, is right before sunrise. And of course, we all know that hot afternoon sun is no fun unless you're on a beach. So I guess, I could go further into the detailing of the windows. It's still in discussion with the builder, Rich. And, we're going to do this economically. The actual windows that are proposed here are cheaper than 2 storefront windows, at half the number. Like just 2 of those 4 in storefront aluminum and glass cost more than all of those, what essentially are basement windows. They're low, height, and wide. They don't need to operate, but I was in looking for them. Everything you buy pretty much operates. So there's also the possibility of venting the building, having fresh air move through the building. You'd need a step ladder to get up there and do it, but that's certainly something that could be managed by a gallery, no problem. And if they ever wanted to block out the light, they would just have a curtain on the inside. I think that's pretty much all of what we are presenting. And so if you have any questions, we'd like to answer.
Questions so far? No.
Yes, Olivia Mazel here. So what's been done so far? You already started?
The building has a demolition, has an application for demolition, which is in review, and the floor that was falling down has been removed. That's the street level, the high street level floor. The roof is still there, most of it. There's openings to the sky. You can see the clouds, but that will come down slowly. What they'll do is they'll scaffold up and have lull inside and basically lifts that are OSHA approved, and they'll remove the roof and then the wall that would have carried that roof, then put in a new wall and then a new roof, and then work their way across all the while. So it's not going to be torn down with like a crane or an excavator, which is the usual method of removing buildings, which is, expensive, dangerous, and very messy. This will be a very tedious, clean, safe process. So like I was saying, Rich and I are still discussing how we're going to brace the sidewalls. Obviously, that steel I-beam that's there is going to remain, and it will be tied to the load of the helical piers, and it will be braced back to the high street floor. And it's I don't know what our schedule is right now. We can't do anything until we get a building permit, and I guess that follows the opinion of the Historic Commission. And we will continue with the demolition and be applying for the permit to build the new mechanical, electrical, heating, finishes, roof. There's a lot of work that needs to happen inside.
Was there an engineering report, anything done for the building? For stabilization, shoring of the back wall or anything?
Well, as you know, the prior architect that started this job, I'm not privy to all of what they did for engineering, but I'm sure they have, some engineering. But the thing is, they were going to rebuild it, and it turns out that it's really impossible. It would have been highly expensive, and basically you would have been removing everything and putting it all back. And it would be very inefficient use for the building, and the condition of the wall is really beyond repair. It's almost at the point of really being a hazard. The roof is stabilizing it, and it needs to come down and be replaced. And I am a structural engineer myself. All my work, I have like 6 years of education on structural design and took an all-day exam on structures, and I do all my own structural engineering anyway. So any report I do is a structural engineering report.
So on that aspect, can you just tell the commission a little bit how this work would happen with stabilization of the back wall?
Sure.
Danger of it coming down?
Yeah, we obviously want to make sure that it's done safely. Like I said, the inside will be shored up with scaffolding, and there's a movable lift, crane lift also. And the roof, well, they'd probably start on the west where the there's actually a huge hole in the roof and you can see the sky. So the roof will be removed there. And then the wall will come down that was holding up that roof that's gone. And then a new wall will go up and then a new roof over it. And then you move on to the next. It's like the way you underpin a building. Like if you want to put a new footing under a building, you dig out like say 4 feet and then you go 8 feet and dig out another 4 feet and you put in new walls and then you do 4 feet at a time. So that's the way this will be done. And it will be done on the module of the windows. So the first wall before you come to a window would be the first section. Then the next section would be the window section itself. And then the next section would be the wall section to the east of that first window. And so the process will be, I mean, it'll be slow, but not really that tedious. It's just, it's an intelligent way to do it that's safe. If the building inspector wants any, further in-depth discussion of that, we can certainly do a narrative on it.
Mhm. Yes. Any other questions for the architects?
Tris,
Mhm.
this is a National Register district. And so the properties have to line up with the Secretary of State standards of restoration and renovation. Are you familiar with the Secretary of State's
I've been
standards?
using it for about 40 years. I do a lot of
Okay.
historic tax credits with it, and I'm very familiar with all the details. And I understand the logic and the process where you do the best you can to follow history and also be very sort of recognizing it in a way that you sort of honor it. And anything new that you do that's different, you make it appropriate. For example, the way the shapes and size of our windows are done to match essentially what's there. And then using horizontal siding, fireproof material also is in conjunction with that.
So have you weighed in with Mass Historic in Boston on your
I
plans?
made a contact with Mass Development and asked them if there was any regulations and or specific details. And they said no. They said it just has to be approved by the Historic Commission. And
Well, Mass Development doesn't have
Right.
have any weight here.
no, I was
They're a separate entity,
Yeah.
so we will refer you to Mass Historic in Boston. Mass Historic then comes back to us and asks for comments from the Historical Commission, because we're the local, we're local.
Yeah.
So
It's a
So you-
project notification.
yeah, so you
that
need to
needs be
to
submitted.
have a project notification to Mass Historic.
Yeah.
You know that because you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Well, there's differences.
Right.
For example, we're restoring a building in Westfield right now, 89 Elm Street, and it has a historic preservation restriction on it. And we review that with Michael Steinitz at the head of Mass Historic. And basically, it's a set of drawings and a narrative, and they look at it, and if they have any suggestions or questions, it's a dialogue.
So that's basically the process we have to follow here too.
Okay.
So we can't particularly comment until we hear back from Mass Historic.
Okay.
So thank you for your detailed descriptions, and I think we have some. Oh, okay.
We're the owners. Right. We do. We do. So are we
yeah.
clear then? We're going to go to for a project notification form first and foremost.
Okay.
It's anything, basically, any building that's over 100 years old or in a historic district. And that this building falls into that purview,
Okay. We will do that.
okay? Any other,
Question about that project.
most certainly, sure,
So just so I'm clear, once we do the notification to them, they would request your feedback as the local body.
yes.
So would this count as that? You would communicate with them, or would we have another meeting after?
They will be in probably contact with us at some point, and it'll be, if the information is sufficient, or if there's gonna be more information that's needed. And then we would probably bring you back for a second time to further discussion.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, so
No.
if we are doing this first, when it should have been that first,
Exactly,
but this. is
Right,
happening
right,
separately, it's
right,
not gonna
right.
be duplicated.
right, very true, okay,
By the way, I would like to introduce myself. I'm
Yes.
Dwight.
I'm Carlos Pena.
Thank you so much for your time, in particular, Mr. Chairman. who
Thank you.
Went in person to visit the site. There's photos, I don't know if it's necessary, there's photos of the current condition. I believe I was able to send them in time, if you guys want to see them, just so you guys can. But maybe that can happen later.
You can always, if you want, forward them to Jennifer, and then we can forward them to the commission. Oh, today, okay. Okay,
But
okay,
Thank you for your time, and our apologies for not coming to you right away. The reason is the permit currently under review is only for emergency stabilization. It's not the full project, so it doesn't include the front, all of that, right? So we were thinking when we're doing the front, if when we would involve, a larger process and all of you guys, so. It's the first time we're doing it, so just wanted to make sure you guys know we do want to have full cooperation and.
okay,
Make sure that we met you and let me know that whatever you guys need. let us know.
Okay. I do have questions on the permit right off the bat. If this is considered a demo, how come a demo permit was not filed?
Emergency. And
Stabilization.
yes, stabilization.
I think the reasoning behind that is maybe our contractor needs to weigh in, or maybe Tris can, but
Yes,
that wall is hazardous and part of emergency stabilization. The first thing is dealing with it. The roof, joists that are like mostly decayed that connect to that wall and that wall. That's the main thing that needs to get stabilized. So what we've done so far in the project is painstakingly, slowly and carefully with bolstering along the way, done the interior demo that had to be done because when the roof caved in, it took the floor beneath it.
And the walls collapsed, like, so it was.
Right, so it took a while to get to this point, but now the emergency stabilization kind of, if I understand correctly, includes what's necessary for that wall, which is demoing
Okay.
just that wall.
Okay.
was there a permit filed for the interior work?
That was mostly just a question for our previous contractor, but I think that. If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't, because most of it was already
Yeah,
like it caved in.
it was already,
It was like a mother
it
nature
was
thing,
basically
and they were just removing
not,
it. Right.
so like the floor gave out, there was some of the walls came down, so we. So that's stuff out.
Painstakingly removing the remnants of what had caved in. So they weren't actually demoing it, because the demo itself was removed.
So the second floor that was there collapsed?
So they were like piece by piece moving it, and I think it was like around 30 yard bumpers, slowly cleaning out. So that's what's been taking out the timeline so far. But it had to happen, the case that it had to happen. It was-
Do you know anything about the permits, Olivia? Or is that something we should reach out more to the building?
The building,
Okay,
yeah, not so much.
As far as I know, the builder is in contact with the building department, which is the most important thing, to have them aware what's going on. They filed for the demolition permit and it's under review. So it's basically to the point now where we need to include you and so we can set plans for the next phases.
when was this filed with the building commissioner?
I don't know. Katie, Carlos, it was probably 3 months ago, maybe.
think there's been, a number of things going on, including kind of transition to a new architect, but the date that the permit was actually officially submitted was April 6th.
Elizabeth, do you have any questions?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
Feel free. Okay. Jean? Olivia? No. Another question as well. I know when we met on Thursday, there was supposed to be a red X placed on the building. Do you know anything if that's
Fire.
right?
The responsibility
The fire department.
to make that decision, to take care of it out.
Okay.
But I was there earlier and it was there.
So can you just go over what the permits, what's happening so far? What I'm looking at, I just see demolition.
Yeah.
I don't see anything about an emergency or stabilization.
I thought it was called emergency repair and stabilization.
Yeah, and I believe in from the submitted from the Kristen, it said emergency.
Okay,
So if you have a copy of that or something, you should have a copy of it.
I thought it was like a category of the type of permit you can apply for.
Yeah.
All emergency repair and stabilization, but that's not the case, then we.
No, I don't. Okay,
And so that, or trip, I don't know if you can hear it from the trip, but the question is. The wording on the permit is,
technically, if it was a demo permit, it should be a demo application permit.
Well,
not
there's,
a regular building permit.
yeah, but there's also a thing called the selective demolition and like foundation. For example, a lot of buildings want to get started before the permit is fully reviewed. They'll issue a foundation permit, which is also a selective demolition permit. Basically, you dig in the ground or you're removing materials, and that's what's happened. That's why it's under review for demolition. So it doesn't really, when you're doing it, you learn more about what needs to be done as it's, unforeseen conditions, for example. I mean, I know of situations where you go into a building for selective demolition and you decide, it should just take the whole thing down because it's just not possible to keep going with selective demo. So this is basically selective demolition. We're not knocking the building down, in other words.
no, not emergency demo, emergency stabilization. If I understand was, I have to look at it, but the contents of this, again, it's just preliminary, we didn't submit the full plans. It's just about the immediate urgent needs, which is what's remaining of the roof and what's remaining of that wall. Plus a few other things internally that would be like stabilization related.
Anybody from the city go out and do permit?
George Shaw from the building department came on a site visit.
Is that George in the audience?
I see a George there. George?
Hi, yeah,
Hi.
I'm the building inspector.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can, George.
There was a question for you. Would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know when you went out to inspect the building, what you found.
Yeah, okay. I didn't quite hear what you said, but the permit that was submitted, a couple weeks ago was for, selective demolition and stabilizing the building, which is why, it was submitted as a building permit as opposed to a demolition permit, which is typically applied for if you're taking the entire building down, which I don't believe is their plan at this time. Does that help clarify or?
I always thought a demolition permit came first and then the building permit was second. Am I wrong? For any demolition?
That's not my experience. I mean, as everybody knows, I came from Cambridge. And, we would issue a demolition permit only if it was to take, the entire structure down. or the majority of the building. And that's my understanding is that's, how the regulations are written. So, so what they've applied for is typically what I would expect somebody to apply for. Where, it's just to reinforce that demolition would be taking the entire structure down. They're really, they're not removing a significant amount of the building. They're keeping, roughly the front half of the framing and intact, and they're keeping the structure, or, they're proposing to keep the structure of the front of the building.
Okay, so on the application to amend it, I have an existing permit is a current demo permit. So is that the wrong verbiage as well?
Yeah, that's, when was that permit submitted to the building department?
I just have a complete date to date 4/24/2003. Do you know anything about? It's an application to amend or renew a building permit. But it says under the existing permit, a current demo permit is still in review.
Correct. I think I can answer that. That one will be amended to indicate how to architect on the project. And I think, Tris, am I correct? That's when we ended to add you and the revised plan about rebuilding the wall right away.
I filled out that amended application, and it can be confusing. I mean, I've been practicing over 50 years and no two buildings are the same. And so basically when you enter into a project, the word demolition, I guess, you've assumed it is a separate demolition permit, but it's a misnomer. It's not a separate demolition project like George pointed out. It's selective demolition. And or like in a building, if it's a new building, it'd be like a foundation permit, it's a starting permit. So it's a opportunity to do selective demolition, to look for the as-built conditions for any unforeseen conditions. And so it's normal that you'll start, you can start with the building permit, and it really, the first phase is foundation or demo or selective demo. But it's not a standalone demolition permit, like George points out. It's a normal permit process that typically starts with selective demolition. And they issue those before all of the other questions have been answered, like what's the heating system like? And it's not a full building permit. Gives you the opportunity to get moving on a project, especially one where there's, some hazard involved, that you want to get them going right away. And so that's why the building department let them start to do some selective demolition as the permit was being reviewed.
So to answer your question, maybe it's just confusing language about the existing permit, because that's not a thing.
Questions?
Right, so we need to sit down with the building inspector and
Yes.
Clarify this,
We
because
have asked for a meeting.
yeah.
Okay.
So
George, is that something we can do in the near future?
Sure.
Okay.
We could do, I have time tomorrow. I don't know how.
No, can't do tomorrow.
Okay.
Starting next week.
All right, I'll send out an email tomorrow to everybody.
Okay.
Now, just, for
Go
No,
ahead.
it's your-
You have something.
for your
Go ahead.
consideration, if this wasn't a historic building, and me as a building inspector going in there, I would be horrified, and I am actually horrified at the conditions of the roof, and I'm highly suspicious of the back wall, being that compromised. And I think I would entertain ordering, the building to be taken down, because of the condition. But you know, there's enough of the building to save, you know, and repair. But I mean, that roof is, you know, is you must have noticed is collapsing.
Yes.
You know, and if that comes down, you know, I'm nervous about the effects it would have on the back wall, you know, and perhaps the buildings on either side. So, you know, and that's where, you know, the building department's interests are, you know, different, you know, slightly different from the historic commissions, although, you know, although yours are very valid and, you know, important to this particular property.
But being a historic building, we have rules that we have to follow as well. We have to do the correct process as well.
Oh, yeah,
For
definitely.
both sides, for both sides, yes.
Yeah, and I support, you know, I support that, and I'm sure Kevin does as well, you know, 100%. But I'm just, you know, I'm just noting that for, you know, moving forward, you know, there should be some haste in all, you know, getting this part of the project done. You know, and as I talked to them, to the owners, the builder and the architect, you know, I consider this like phase one of, you know, an ongoing process with this building. So.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
yeah, I just wanted to jump in and add that, again, it's our first time, so we're also learning about process permit. But if we may, like you said, have some case, since it's only the first permit for emergency stabilization, there will be a full permit with full filings and all the drawings for the entire project that, you know, we would anticipate a much longer consideration, review and all of that. So just wanted to add that to make sure it's clear. This is not comprehensive. If there's confusion, it's probably because of that. It's only a very targeted initial permit to do this most urgent stuff that has to happen now, but there will be forthcoming very soon. We already have most stuff together. Full permit. So that might be another opportunity to really work together and make sure that you guys are up to speed on every detail, have everything you need to do, you know, your role in the process.
You know, I want to reiterate that back wall at any minute could come down when the roof collapses.
It really is.
The wall's not gonna stay up. There's a lot of kids from the Leaning Terrace that play basketball, and play around in that area. The last thing that I would like to have, hate to see happen for that building to collapse while they play basketball. While they go back there, anyway, you know, so.
We definitely are doing everything we can to preserve and save the building, except for that one wall. The city was, as you know, because it's the most, in a way, logical, but not logical. Romantic. On the building, just that one wall, if we could say we would.
I would stress urgently that you gotta get on Mass Historic. I mean, immediately. I mean, we still have to follow, we're tied as well. We have to do our procedures as well, but I mean, immediately reach out to them and whatever they need, if we can help you in any way, you know.
Yes.
Is there something you can do in between to keep the kids away? You know, shrink wrap it or, you know, tie it with the caution tape or, you know, put a big,
Well, Spider-Man and that's it, so let it up.
web it up. Yeah, because we don't want to lose anybody for that. Or, of course, so the building's important, but the kids around there too are in Lyman Terrace are intrigued, I'm sure, by a building that's like in that condition.
It's a very nice alley back there. They did have focus. We even thought about putting it on there for them to use it. They really use the space.
Yeah.
Right now, we've definitely spoken, at this point, we know some of the folks around there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move their cars and we're doing. Work in there. All of the debris removing, dumpster position.
If I could just make a couple comments.
Yes, go ahead, George.
Okay, if it's acceptable to the architect and the owners, I'll modify the wording on the permit application just to be a little clearer about, you know, what this would entail and what it doesn't entail.
Yes,
Yes.
And if you know, the parties want, I could meet with the owner or the builder at some point and just discuss how to make in particular, the rear of the building more secure. Because, you know, as the 12-year-old boy in me would love to be inside of there, but
mhm,
you know, we have to, obviously that has to be prevented. And, you know, I don't mean to joke about it, but I mean, your concerns about kids going in there or homeless people or whoever is, you know, very valid. And one of the first things I said to them was, you know, you have to secure the building. So, you know, for my part, I can help them do that.
that would be
You know,
great.
Okay. And if everyone's agreed, I'll reword the permit application a little bit. Because the word demolition scares me as well, because that has, you know, a lot of implications.
Yes.
Fine with that.
Good.
Okay,
Please.
okay.
Okay, then. Any other questions on this? Any questions, comments?
Should we stay for the rest of the meeting or?
You're welcome to leave. You're welcome to stay. You need to get on the phone and start the process.
Thank you for
Okay,
that.
all right.
You got that guidance, spend more time in the matter. It's not your fault at all, but it's called a learning process. So thank you again for your time, especially having come in
Okay.
person.
Yeah.
And yeah, we look forward to working with you.
Okay,
One last thing, if there is something else, I just wanted to ask a question to Mr. Magula. Because I know you're here and you're on this committee, and I wanted to know if, in your opinion, you feel comfortable discussing and weighing in on this property in a fair manner. As one of the members of the commission.
Well, as a member of the commission, because I was involved with the RFP, I actually can't do that. So,
he has recused himself.
correct.
Okay, so there's,
Yeah.
okay,
Chris,
Yes.
everyone knows that
yes,
it's not a great voice in this process. With the conflict of interest, which has become very evident.
Yes.
okay,
Thanks.
Well,
all right, thank you very much. Okay, we will be in touch. Let us know the process, if we can be of any help, and we'll go from there. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tris, and thank you, George.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Okay, on to agenda number 5 is the preservation restriction agreement for 536 Dwight Street, Holyoke City Hall. Do you want to take this one, Olivia? This is all you, I think, with,
I didn't know.
no,
I didn't know it was on. It's in our,
it's in the packet.
it's in the packet.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was something we were going to bring up this meeting with City Hall and the possible preservation restriction. I think we wanted to meet with someone. Does that ring a bell?
It's
Sure.
all written out.
Okay.
There's, the work that they're doing with the restoration of some interior
Mm-hmm.
elements, they're aware of I've been told that they're aware of the preservation restrictions,
Okay,
so we're hoping that we can bring some things back
okay,
to original,
okay,
that have been cobbled together and not exactly original to the
Okay.
building, so.
so we don't need to do
we
anything
don't-
further.
No.
This
no,
is already in
it's
place, already,
signed, the last mayor
okay,
signed it, so we're good to go.
Do we want to meet with anyone? I thought we were gonna meet with the custodial staff or something, or is that not
No,
needed?
we don't-
Don't worry. Okay, no, that's fine.
We do. The historical commission does. Yeah.
Yes,
So how do we do that?
that's another discussion. Yes,
It's specific in the,
and the restriction
in the
itself.
restriction, what guidelines are in there. So we have to pull out the restrictions. And, not the guidelines and be specific. Look at the specific details.
And this is a dialogue we've been having as more restrictions come down the line. Who will monitor with the building department, et cetera, us to ensure that those are met.
The commission is supposed to be a watchdog. You know, so we have to bring it to DPW's
Mhm.
attention and to the custodial staff. Well, they don't do anything unless they're told. You know, they're
Right,
approved by
right.
the chain of command, so, yeah. So the historical commission, like, for instance, like the, North High Street, National Register District, we're kind of a watchdog for all the other properties on that street, on High Street, both sides. To see if there are no specific guidelines. And it's an honorary designation, but still they have the Secretary of State has these standards you have to follow and blah, 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 so. So we're the canary in the coal mine, so to speak.
Very true.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
So we just keep that handy
Okay.
and, we just be watchful.
And is that in our drive, Jennifer? I imagine it is, right?
If it isn't, I can find
Okay.
it. Yeah, I've been organizing, going through finding them all. They've kind of been in different areas.
Okay.
So,
Is that part of what Trinity's doing too?
Yes, I actually reached out to her and it's her school schedule and then my work schedule. We just have not been on any alignment.
Was she supposed to come Monday?
No. But I will put it in my notes to reach out to her again. Now, can you see what she does? Is there can you see anything?
I haven't noticed.
Noticed.
Because I just kind of go in to do what I'm.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
Does it tell you? Like, does it say Trinity so-and-so?
If you click on
Edited
things,
or-
it'll show you things that have moved and stuff and who edited things and, yeah. Cause she shouldn't be editing anything. to
Right.
No, moving,
No.
right, okay. I'm gonna reach out to her
The
again.
benefit of using Google Drive is that it does tell you when people touch documents and things,
Good, I'm
so.
good,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Okay, anything else with that? We will go on to number 6, report from commissioners attending other boards and committee meetings. Joseph, would you like to go ahead?
What am I? Oh, yes, tourism. We did have a meeting for tourism. There was a presentation from Beyond Walls, which was super exciting. They're working on that, I think, for the next meeting tomorrow.
Yep.
Coming up. And then there was nothing really, I think, pertaining to us that they're doing with volleyball. They're gonna do some really cool outdoor volleyball games and stuff like that. I can't think of anything else that would have
No.
affected us.
And then we'll know more tomorrow, because now we're coming up to the next meeting.
Okay,
I think the applications for Beyond Walls is done.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
the period is already closed. So they
Just-
have a whole bunch of applications for walls. I don't know if they've narrowed it down yet.
I have a question about that. Let's say it's a historic building.
Mhm.
Do they have to come to us for that? Or like, what is that process? I don't know.
I'm not sure, actually.
I was thinking, I was gonna ask that during the,
no,
Yeah,
I'll ask that during the next meeting.
probably will have, we can look at
yeah,
that.
we can find out.
Because I know there's a lot of buildings, obviously, that have already done it.
Mhm.
Doesn't seem.
I
to
don't think
have been-
anything's come over the radar.
No.
like that.
No, the only thing that I dealt with last year was someone looking for historic tax credits. Now, if you plan on calling your building historic and looking for historic tax credits.
Yeah.
And you have a modern mural on there,
Mhm.
that's not gonna work. So that's what we ran into last year, was that we had someone who wanted to have a mural. But when he spoke to Mass Historic, they said, if you put a
Right.
mural on the side of your building, now you change,
Right,
right?
right.
So
And so they suggested that if you are looking for any type of historic tax
Right.
credits, to not do any exterior work of that magnitude.
I wonder if there's a way we then could get involved in that, because like if a building owner doesn't know that,
Mhm.
and then I don't know.
Tourism, but we will have
Yeah,
access.
I'll bring
to,
that up tomorrow.
Submit it,
Applied,
you know, and
Okay.
then we can have those conversations with the individual
yeah, I'll
owners.
bring that up
to
in the
make sure
meeting,
that they're aware.
Okay.
just in case,
Mhm.
doesn't hurt.
Olivia, any boards and commissions?
The 150th, I'm a little out of the loop on that these days.
Jean?
I know, the three of us, I know.
You're going to gala on October 28th.
Yahoo.
We're working on it.
So a date has been set.
I paid it and set.
Yes,
The location is 99.99% City Hall.
Oh, it will be.
Always that ballroom, you know. It will be a masquerade ball. Victorian Benjamin of the Opera kind of ambiance
Mhm.
so far. But it's only May, so. it's
Things
a work
change
in
quickly.
progress. We have the chair of the gala committee,
Okay,
so it's working out well.
okay,
And we're working on a silent auction that will occur the night of the gala.
Okay.
And as you know, you're on that committee.
Mhm.
but it's on there.
mhm,
And we're collecting things for the auction on. And then we are also working diligently on a time capsule. And there'll be information being put out to the public asking for ideas of what they might possibly think should be considered to be put into the time capsule. And then we're also working on a commemorative book,
how cool.
all in our spare time.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Are you ready to run? Why are you sitting over there?
So, yeah, so there's a lot of players, but we're still looking for lots of volunteers. But it's interested on committees to help.
I'm already on the list.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know if it's up yet. I don't know. We have to get with Sharon on that and
The silent option one is easy. We just got it, we can talk about it.
Is there?
We gotta really just. get
Is that-
people to donate. I'm almost gonna have people to host them, it's like doing a couple classes or something like that. You know, we can talk about that. All right, we'll talk. about that.
The 150th will end in December, Pearl Harbor Day, not saying anything. The Rotary is having their big event and the closing of the time capsule will occur then.
Cool.
So that's my update on that. Anything else? Holyoke Preservation Trust is having an art contest.
Mhm.
And it's for people of all ages, all kinds of art. And the form is on the Preservation Trust website. And all artwork should be delivered to Holyoke Heritage Park because we're collaborating with them on that.
Mhm.
And I think the other big thing.
Our garden tour.
Sure.
Will be June 10th.
Mhm.
That's all I know.
Mhm.
Me too.
I forgot to mention that Stephanie Pierce, a local commercial photographer, has been taking archival pictures of City Hall in the nooks and crannies and we did have a photographer's day last week. So we had 5 different photographers come in and just sort of
Roaming the building.
roam the building, and they had permission from mayor's office to take anything that of interest, and they came over here. Of course, they love they love the annex here, so we got permission to go in to see the cells and the
Oh, so you're
male and
able to go in the
female
basement.
sales.
Oh.
Yes, yes. So, but some of those are not for publication. They're just for
Just
with the
records,
records,
right.
just for the records, yeah. So Stephanie's gonna be away for the next 2 weeks. When she comes back, we're gonna continue with we have to do a basement,
Mhm.
a session. And also, I should also mention that there's a document recovery,
Mhm.
CPA project that, apparently I'm hoping that all the paperwork is done because the company had to become a vendor and they had to get all their paperwork in. And so the
Mhm.
date we had set for them to recover the documents passed by. So we haven't rescheduled it yet, but I'm hoping sometime before Memorial Day. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna be, but that's a process too.
Where are
So
they gonna be stored at?
they're gonna take it to their lab in Marlboro,
Mhm.
Needham,
Mhm.
Marlboro, or Needham. I'm not sure where. So I'm hoping to have to get a field trip down there. I want to see what they want to
So the
do.
work in progress.
A work in progress,
Okay.
take pictures, you know. So what they do is they dry clean the journals and they take the mold out. And I don't know the whole process, but
Hmm.
they'll come back at some point in time. They'll come back to the Holyoke History Room, and Eileen has suggested that further down the road they can be digitized and put up for the public
Perfect.
to look at. So it names, there's school census from 1880, 1890. I mean, these are our great grandparents, and so there's a lot of familiar
That's
names
exciting.
that you see in there. Yeah. Poorhouse, Pauper's List, all kinds of, the milk inspector.
A milk inspector?
Milk inspector, yes, they had to have a milk inspector. Yes, because
Right.
all the farms around here supplied milk for the
Right.
schools, so they had to have,
Been here in the 50s and 60s.
yeah, so they had to go out and inspect the milk, and there is an office in on the second floor,
It
which
says something, doesn't
it was the milk
Yeah.
inspector's office. So we're going like, what's that about? It was a real thing. Yeah,
My mother tells me stories about the milkmaids bringing the milk.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lots of.
See?
Yeah. A milk box, yeah, yeah. A lot of interesting stuff happening.
That's awesome. Excited for our city. Beautiful. All right, moving right along. Any other reports? All right, next item on the agenda is the Community Preservation Plan, gathering feedback for CPA. Thank you, guys. Okay. My last meeting with CPA, Meg brought up that they are in the process of updating the book, and they would like our input because we're the historical commission on any additions. So I kind of did just print out the 2 pages, but I apologize. There was a 3rd page, correct, Jean? There's already a list. Okay,
If you,
I have the book.
yeah, you to the CPA page, or just Google's, CPA Holyoke Community Preservation Plan, it'll pop up. And I'll tell you what pages, because I looked it up here. Oh, here it is. Page 46. It should say discussion exercise part 2, historic preservation. There.
Actually, it was our response. Historic preservation received very mixed support.
You have the list where it says shown on the screen in the blue responses.
That's
That's how it's showing up on my phone is page 46 of 56.
50, starting at 50. Yeah. So there's all responses.
Right, so that's
Yeah.
also the suggestions to the public, what they thought was important. Preservation.
Has everyone seen this?
Stated because-
No, you've seen this. No? No? Is this all on the website? It is on the website, the whole book. Yes. So Megan has asked within our time frame for our next meeting, if there's any additions, edits, anything that we would maybe suggest doing something differently to be prepared for the next June meeting, so I can forward that over to her on the next CPA meeting.
Can you send that out as a link?
Yes,
So we
of course.
all have it.
Yes. All right. Next item on the agenda is the historic house plaque update. Commissioner Mazel.
I haven't done anything with the plaque, what we, I know people are one plaque,
Mhm.
but we have to update the application,
Mhm.
so can I'd be willing to do that
Okay,
and bring it back for.
our next round.
commission to review.
Okay, yes,
And then we can. If, once it's approved.
okay,
Start putting it out.
okay.
Well, we have a list as well, right?
Yes.
People,
I have a list. I think Jennifer, you have a list of people that are waiting patiently. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we do have several people in line waiting for a historic house plaque. We're gonna duplicate the same thing. So keep it simple.
template everything, right? Or they have it or,
Well, I haven't taken it to
Right,
Dean.
Right.
right, but we do have.
Yeah.
Yes.
we have.
yes.
And there's a cost, so we can discuss
Mhm.
that.
We can do that for the next meeting.
Yes, it's the cost that they wanted to go to Dean.
Mhm.
That's right,
As a fundraiser.
as a fundraiser. So I think it's the cost of the amount of money that
Okay,
we need to discuss.
what do you mean, charging for the plaque? Okay,
So
okay,
we'll bring that to you.
okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, new or old business. Jennifer, I was gonna hand that over to you. If I don't, do you want to reiterate what you sent me about the property preservation group and, or do you want me to? I can do it. Or you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, because I don't have, but I do have something else to add.
Okay.
Go over that.
Jennifer has kept me in the loop. There is no property preservation group master listing yet. I know we had all spoken about that at one time. Multiple departments are working on that to create a usable list for all of us. So they will keep us posted when that comes to fruition. As Jennifer said earlier, she's found several preservation restriction documents and they have been shared to the Google Drive. And you received a hard copy for the State Register of Historic Places. And that is for Essex Street.
We did receive,
Yeah.
the certificate for the Essex Street Historic District came through.
You wanna look at it quickly?
And then I got the book of state historic places for
Places.
2022.
Yep,
I scanned that and that's actually already on the drive. I did that
Perfect.
earlier today.
perfect.
Local historic will be having a public hearing.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else for new business or old business?
Is there an update on? Sheriff who-
I was gonna ask about that, yes, on Commissioner Salazar.
An email was sent out, and we have not received any reply.
Okay, so this is his fourth,
Or fifth, I'm not sure.
So can
Okay.
we go to the mayor now and,
I can
And
certainly,
then
I can ask
okay.
where to go from here.
Technically, this is 5, because I think we started counting.
previous,
I think
right,
so.
okay,
Yeah, and he's on till, I think it was October. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll find out, what the protocol is. and
Okay.
See,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
and I can, yeah, I know that you guys know once I find out.
okay,
Exactly how to go about it.
okay,
I did have some new business.
okay,
That I was actually going to ask, we have a developers toolkit that we use here in our office
mhm,
for incoming developers, and it will include tips and tricks, things about funding and programs and how to deal with the city. There's just a lot of information, so we actually were talking around the idea of creating a historic buildings developers toolkit. So that kind of goes into the whole, can we put a mural on the side of the,
mhm,
so I wanted the commission's permission to reach out to Shannon Walsh, which I know
mhm,
we've all dealt with
mhm.
before from Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, to see if that's something we could do for the commission, so then we have that, and it's something we can hand to people. Cause right
Just-
now, all of the information is in so many different areas
Departments,
that it's hard, we have people coming in like that, perfect example. Where we don't have anything that we can give to people.
to start
when
the
they have-
process.
Right.
Okay.
And so I would love to, with your permission, to reach out to Shannon Walsh. To see if we can get something started and, see if there's grant monies out there, perhaps to get a study going.
Yes,
So.
Do-
With your blessing, okay, yeah.
We need
and
to
then
vote.
I-
We need to vote on that. Yeah. Make a motion.
Okay. And this is, I'll keep you abreast of. when
Okay.
things, But I'll reach out to her and see.
Yeah, you vote first.
Yeah, we will. Hold on one second, okay, from Kane. And let's do a roll call. Olivia,
Yes.
Joseph Mazzola.
Yes.
Elizabeth Rodriguez.
Yes.
Luis Salazar, Jean Jonker,
Yes.
and Chris Gothier.
Yes,
Okay, so I will do that and I'll keep you. all-
perfect,
Yeah,
awesome.
and that's the only new business that I had.
Anything? That's it? Nothing? Good, You sure? Okay. Okay, our next meeting is June 12th. Use our usual Monday.
I don't know which time my class will be starting up. I'll let you know.
Keep us posted.
I'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right, I make a motion to adjourn. 6:47. All in favor? Aye, aye.
Roll call, Olivia Mazel,
Yes.
Joseph Mazzola,
Yes.
Elizabeth Rodriguez.
Yes.
Luis Salazar, Jean Jonker.
Yeah.
And Chris Gothier.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
unanimous, 6:47.